What's up, tribe? Welcome to the journey. If you're new here, my name is Kamal, the paragon of self-mastery. But this channel isn't just about self-mastery. It's about power, strategy, and control. Here we're going to break down the greatest lessons from history, psychology, philosophy, politics, and more. But not just to learn them, but to figure out how we can apply them in our everyday lives. So check this. We got three types of people. The first person is being controlled, but they don't even realize it. The second person sees the game that's being played, but they're fine following the rules. They're content. And the third person sees the game being played, but they do everything in their power to master themselves so they don't get controlled. And that's who we are over here. We're that third type of person. And that's what we're going to talk about today. The inner laws of power, how to master yourself so you'll never be controlled by anybody in this world. So, imagine a world where there's a game being played, a game of power. Everybody's trying to control you. Now, don't imagine that, because that's the reality of what's going on. Every interaction, every conversation, every move you make is kind of placing you in this system. You can't just exist in this world. And the truth is, the ones who don't master themselves, who aren't aware of this game, they're going to be the first people to be controlled. So you got to either control yourself or you're going to be controlled by others. And it's not me being paranoid or trying to be on that conspiracy theory kind of stuff. This is real life. This stuff, the algorithms, politics, war, TV shows, they're all subliminally doing it. Even some of your closest relationships. There's a battle for the control over your mind that's been going on since the beginning of time. From the highest places, the kings, the pharaoh, the government, down to your closest connections, people right next to you. But luckily, we have a lot of resources to help us, from papers, theories, psychology. Even some of the greatest people to ever live left blueprints for us that we can study from. And you got to study from them, because if you don't want to be a pawn, you got to learn how to play chess, not checkers. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Okay, so the inner laws of mastery. We have theme 1, which is mental control. The first battleground is the mind. So the core message pretty much is, before you master power, you must first master your perception. Your mind is the first battleground. And if you win there, the world will follow. Power starts in the mind. If you can't control how you think and feel, you'll always be controlled by external forces. And some of the books covered is Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, and that talks about how emotional control is power. You got Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, that goes over controlling your response. It helps you to control your destiny. Then you have The Psychology of Personal Constructs by George Kelly, and that talks about how your belief shapes your reality. So the key takeaway from this theme is, you don't control the way the world works, but you control how you interpret it. Power is not about force, it's about perception and mental discipline. If you let emotions rule you, others will use them to control you. And the real world application of this is the power pause. So before you react to anything emotionally, Pause for 5 seconds. Ask yourself, will this reaction serve me or will it make me weaker? And this is actually something that I have been starting to implement a lot more, especially, in certain situations when it comes to the relationship dynamics with your lady, fellas. She might say something, and women can use this too, because a lot of times women say things on an emotional note. And okay, so now if I get something said to me, let me pause and understand. When I respond to this, is this going to make our situation better or is it going to make it worse? Boom. So on to theme 2, the nature of power. Understanding the rules before playing the game. So most people think power is about domination, but the truth is power is about leverage. And those who don't understand it become pawns. Power is not good or bad. It just is. And if you don't understand that, you're just going to be kind of being led left and right. So some of the books on this is The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, Power Follows Hidden Rules, The Prince by Niccolo Machiavelli. And that talks about how morality alone is not going to protect you. You got to play the game. And then you got The Book of Five Rings by Miyamoto Musashi. And that talks about how the warrior masters his mind before the battle even begins. So the key takeaway from this theme is power is not good or bad. It just is. If you don't understand how to use power, you'll be used by it. And the most powerful people, they don't actually even seek power. They seek leverage. So the real world application of this is the power audit. So you can take some time to really analyze your life and understand who has leverage over you, who do you have a leverage over, and where is your power leaking and you don't even realize it. Because if you don't understand where the power flows and where the power goes, then you're already lost. So the next theme is theme 3, self-mastery through action, how to take control of yourself. The core message of this is that it's one thing to think about power, it's another to embody it. Mastery is not about knowing, it's about doing. So some of the books on this is A Theory of Cognitive Dissonance by Leon Festinger, and that talks about how why weak minds justify their failures instead of improving. You got Flow, it's by a Russian author, so I can't really pronounce the name, but Mihaly, and the last name starts with a C. If you go and look the book up, you probably see it. So that talks about how elite performance comes from deep focus. Then you got The Unfettered Mind. That's by another historical Japanese or Asian author. It's an old book, and it talks about how to move without hesitation. Then you got The Obstacle is the Way, and that talks about how to use hardship as fuel. You got Grit, and that talks about why resilience is more powerful than talent. So the key takeaway from this theme is self-mastery is not about knowing, it's about doing. The strongest people use struggle as fuel, while the weak use it as an excuse. Your power is how you handle discomfort. So the real world application, it's pretty much uncomfortable action. Doing something every day to condition yourself when times get hard to still take action, And I also have a video. If I didn't put it out yet, I will be putting it out. So you can check on my channel. It'll be called the Relentless Execution Affirmation Videos. And you probably can listen to that before you go do something like a cold shower. Pop that on. Or you about to go work out. Get your little, your pre-workout. Get your real pre-workout, which would be this video. And that'll get you right. So let's go on into theme 4. So theme 4. Lessons from history, power and action. The core message is every civilization that failed to master power collapsed. The same applies to individuals. The same applies to us. History repeats itself. The same power plays are happening over and over and over again. It's just the name changes. Nothing new under the sun. So some of the books that I covered, because this was from my And I'll go into that a little bit later, but the kind of thing that I was focused on was like Rome and Julius Caesar. So SPQR, which talks about how the Roman civilization collapsed because the power wasn't managed correctly in it. You got the 12 Caesars, which talks about how Roman leaders controlled or lost power and how we can learn from that. Then you got the Gallic Wars and the commentaries of the Civil War, which talked about how Caesar dominated Rome through strategy and action. So the key takeaways from this theme is history is the ultimate guide. The same power dynamics repeat over and over, just with different players. And if you ignore history, you definitely are bound to repeat the mistakes. The greatest leaders weren't actually the strongest people. They were the most strategic. And the application for this is a historical power study. So you can choose one historical figure who mastered power, study them for, let's say, 7 days, write down, let's say, 3 strategies they used, and try to apply one in your everyday life. Because, nobody was born with strategy. We had to actually learn this over time. So that goes into a deeper thing where you can see like how a lot of kids interact. They weren't born this way. They've been conditioned. So we can condition ourselves in something that empowers us and something that we can use as a tool. And I would definitely love if people can drop that in the comment, what they studied or what they learned or what they've been applying, because that can also help me improve my strategies and empower myself as well. And you don't just watch videos like this because you're bored or something like that. You understand that there's a deeper game being played in the world. And it's something that most people are blind to. And the only way to avoid being a pawn in this game is to actively master yourself. Power is always shifting, it's always here. They label it one thing, used to be slavery. Now it's modern day slavery, 9 to 5, you know what I'm saying? If you don't master yourself though, you definitely will be mastered by somebody else. The only difference between the people on the top and those not on the top is taking action. Because knowledge without application is really irrelevant. So let's review those 4 themes. You got the first theme, which is the power pause. Your second theme is your power audit. Your third theme is taking uncomfortable action. And your 4th theme is your power history review. And this is just one piece of the puzzle. True power isn't just about knowledge. It's about mastery, execution, and putting yourself around the right people. So make sure you definitely turn your notifications on so you can be in tune for the next video. Subscribe to the tribe and drop a comment on any thoughts or ideas you had while you were watching the video. And one last thing, the world is always moving. So are you moving with attention or are you being moved by others?